Do you all recall the last video that I was talking about the cherry tree blossoms and the buds and whatnot, and how we were going to have a warm spell with a cold snap and all those buds were going to freeze and we wouldn't have any blooms or cherries this year? Well, guess what happened last night? Yeah, we got about 2 inches of snow. We even got more up on the hills. So welcome to Saturday, the 23rd of January, 2021. Glad to have you aboard. Yours truly fouled up today. I thought I was going to give you a high-speed video of me spending the 20-25 minutes mounting the tires and tubes on the rims for the front of the 850 Ford. Unfortunately, I got the settings in that little camera wrong. Didn't catch any of it except a still photo. So anyway, the tires and their tubes are mounted on the Ford 8N rims and they are ready to rock and roll. Now that the tires are mounted on the tubes, I'm going to clean up the lug nuts and give them a little bit of a shine, get some of the scaly rust and whatnot off of them. I'm going to prime them today, but I'm not going to paint them. Reason being is I want to get the tires on the tractor so we can move the tractor if I need to, but we're going to pull the front hubs back off the tractor and replace the seals in it and pack the bearings and whatnot. We're going to do that when it's a little warmer out here in the shop. So in the meantime, these are going to get cleaned up. I'm going to take them to the house and just put some primer on them for now. And then once we get the hubs done, painted, resealed and whatever, and packed with grease, and we put the wheels back on them, then we'll touch up the paint and make it look nice. But for now, I'm just going to clean these up. I think that looks a lot better than it did. It still has some green paint on it. Don't know where that came from, but it won't have green paint on it for too much longer. You're all probably wondering how I was holding on to that nut and not getting my fingers into the wire wheel. Well, I was using a 3/8 bolt, and what I did was I just simply put the nut onto the bolt and let it turn on that smooth shaft so it wouldn't bugger up the threads of the lug nut. Now, the other thing I was able to do was put a finger on a flat side of the nut and hold it. So say the side facing you was up against the wire wheel, and that was what the wheel was grinding on or working on. So by doing this number, I was able to control what side was up against the wire wheel and keep my fingers away from that spinning wire. So are you ready for another dad joke? What do you call a pregnant cow that has had her calf? Why, decaffeinated, of course. One of the projects I've got coming up in this next week is on Wednesday. I'm going to have one of our local neighboring farmer friends come in and talk to me about what we need to do about taking care of the field out here. In particular, getting some of the hard pan broke up, stirring up the ground real good, and actually more than anything else, is to level it out and get rid of the dead furrows that are caused by some of the older tractors and plows. The dead furrows are caused because we're not following one tractor behind the other one plowing. They're kind of hit and miss in between, and it leaves basically a ditch, a big wide ditch out in the field. And that makes it dang near impossible for us to get our gravity flow irrigation from one end of the field to the other. So he'll be by Wednesday, and we'll have a look-see at what it's going to take to get that done. There won't be any work done Wednesday out in the field because obviously the ground is still frozen rock hard. But hopefully sometime in the next month or so, he can come in and stir the dirt up for us and level it out real good. Now, I had thought of doing the work myself. Skylar, my son, has even volunteered to come out and help do some of that. But I think for this go around, just to get the thing leveled out a little bit, we'll have the neighbor come in, if he's willing to do it, and use some of his big equipment just to get rid of those high and low spots out in the field. So this is going to be one of the few times that we will have newer equipment on the property doing something. Now this little shed still needs to be removed out of here by the middle of May. If somebody is interested in the old barn wood, they can make me an offer for it, tear it down and haul it off. Otherwise, my son and I, we will be disassembling it after we gut it. We'll save the wood for another project, and we'll roll on. But yeah, this little shed is going to go away as well. I had two fellows very interested in taking the shed and relocating it. One fellow was going to come in with a fair-sized flatbed and just load it up and set it on the flatbed until he realized that the building is actually two different structures put together, more or less. From about there down, you can see that split. That's the two different buildings. In fact, if you look down here at the bottom of the thing, you can actually see, yeah, it's two different buildings. Now up at the top above the old basketball hoop, they just put boards across it to help hold it together and whatnot. Yeah, because that seam doesn't go up. That's the help of the finger. That seam doesn't go all the way up to the peak of the roof. If nobody buys the little shed and disassembles it or hauls it off, I'll be more than happy to make a video of my happy butt falling off the roof and going splat on the ground. When the fellows that were going to move the shed and were interested in buying it discovered that thing was actually two pieces, they didn't want to have anything to do with it, because they couldn't move it in one chunk. They'd have to take it apart, and that was a little more work than what they wanted to fool with. Well, this is going to wrap up this little video for this one. It's too darn cold outside for me to be wanting to be out there, be coming down with a cold in short order. And once you get a cold, you can't work at my in-town job because you might be having COVID-19. Ooh. So, yeah, anybody that's got a cold, you don't go to work there. You call in sick and you lose wages. And, yeah, so not a cool deal. So that's probably true to a lot of places around the United States right now. So I'm trying to stay out of the cold weather and in the wind especially, and not do as much as I can out there, or as little as I can out there. However, you know what I meant. Anyway, I got my iced tea made up here, and I got a new seed catalog from an outfit called Territorial Seed. I have no idea how I got on their mailing list. But anyway, I'm going to have a look-see at that today and see about ordering some more seeds in. Never can have enough, especially when you're going to do a garden and that sort of thing. Going to compare prices between a couple of different catalogs I've got and that sort of thing. Not that I'm cheap, I'm thrifty. So anyway, I'm going to finish editing up this little video. We'll get it shot out to you. I've already got 2 more in the works. By the time you see this, in fact, the guy will be here to have looked at the field and whatnot. With any luck, knock on some wood. So yeah, stay tuned for more upcoming events here at Nelson Creek Farms. And as always, don't forget, right down there, click that little red thing that says subscribe on it, and touch the little bell icon right next to it, and then scroll up to it says all. Click on that, That way you can get notified every time there's another one of these videos out. Stay tuned because we will be having a very busy spring and summer here at the farm. Catch y'all later.